Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
Dante.
An inmate at the Jackson Correctional Institution. All calls, other than properly placed attorney calls, may be monitored and recorded. To accept charges, press 1. To refuse charges, press 2.
If you would like to permanently block your number from receiving calls from this facility, press
6.
for balance and rate quotes, press
7. Thank you for using
CenturyLink.
You may start the conversation now.
Welcome to the Incarcerated U.S. Podcast. I'm your host, Dante Cottingham. This morning, I'm speaking to Mr. Jerome Dillard. He is the founder of an organization called Voices Beyond Bars, a former DOC Secretary-appointed member of the Council on Offender Reentry, the State Director of EXPO, Ex-Prisoners Organizing, and the Director of Reentry Programs for Dane County. Good morning, Mr. Dillard.
Good morning, Dante. How are you this morning?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. I'd like to thank you, man, for taking the time to have this discussion with me.
No problem at all, my brother.
I have some questions I'd like to ask you to get your perspective on some of the components of mass incarceration in America. But before we get to those, let's start our conversation about Voices Beyond Bars. What inspired you to create and found it, and what is its mission?
Well, Voices Beyond Bars was founded in 2002, and we were a speakers bureau actually created for and by formerly incarcerated people to tell our stories and address the issues around mass incarceration. Voices Beyond Bars partnered with a statewide organization called Wisdom, which is an advocacy organization that worked on criminal justice issues. And after joining them, I think it was 2006, we partnered with them. We became members of Wisdom. We met some gentlemen in Milwaukee who had a similar organization called Tables of the Saints. And as we began to work together with Wisdom around issues such as treatment instead of prisons, which is now called treatment alternative diversions, and other issues, we came together in 2014 after I left for a while to work at the Wisconsin Resource Center as a peer specialist. I came back in 2014, and we were meeting with Wisdom organizations from around the state, and we thought to ourselves it would be great to have a statewide organization of formerly incarcerated citizens by formerly incarcerated people. And that's where we formed EXPO, Ex-Prisoners Organizing, which emerged in 2014. Voices Beyond Bars is now defunct. Almost all my efforts have been with EXPO, Ex-Prisoners Organizing, and we have local chapters around the state now.
How would you describe the mission of EXPO, and how would you describe your experiences working with some of the ex-prisoners?
Well, I think it's been my mission for the last 15, 16 years to stay close to the population, to stay informed on what's going on in our criminal justice system here in Wisconsin and around the nation, actually. And that is exciting to me. I just have a heart and understand the issues of mass incarceration, and staying close to the brothers and sisters who are impacted in our criminal justice system today was a high priority for me to just connect with them, share my story, and be a part of the reentry process for so many here in Madison and around the state now. I do want to say, Dante, we have 5 chapters. We have chapters all over the state of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, a very strong chapter there. That's
EXPO.
Yep. All these are EXPO chapters. Milwaukee, Madison, Eau Claire, Green Bay, the Fox cities, and even in Superior. We have formerly incarcerated leaders in these cities who are leading the charge to change our criminal justice system around the state, and also taking up issues in their own regions that impact them the most. It's been very exciting, and we're very close to Racine, Kenosha, and Beloit, and Waukesha County coming aboard, and we'll be at Wausau really soon also. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So,
and when you think about it, I mean, when it comes to a lot of these issues, those closest to it, like you say, and those that's been through it and experienced it, are a lot of times most equipped and best suited to be effective.
Absolutely. Yep, you're absolutely right. Expo believes that those who are most affected by the issues must be involved in decision-making about our response to the issues. We believe that those are closest to the problems are closest to the solution, something that we've said for years. And our motto, Expo's motto is, you have a right not to remain silent. And what we're saying, Dante, is that we need to tell our stories. We need to share the experience. We need to talk about what led us into the activities that landed us behind bars. And over the years, one thing I do realize is that our stories are powerful. Indeed. But we also believe, Dante, that we believe in the human dignity of currently and formerly incarcerated people, and recognize that we must come from and are part of communities. That's putting a face to it and humanizing the issue is very important. And Expo believes that men and women with conviction and arrest records should be viewed as human beings, members of families, and an asset to our community. And we believe that strongly.
And I mean, to nail that point home, I mean, at the end of the
all
day,
all calls other than properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded.
At the end of the day, we all in this together. We living right next to each other. Our kids going to the same schools. You know what I mean? We a family at the end of the day. So I agree with that. And in preparation for this interview, I checked Expo out and have a tremendous respect and admiration for the mission. And I want you to know personally that as soon as I'm released, you will definitely be counting me amongst his ranks. I'm all in.
Thank you, brother. We need you. Our children need us. Our community need us, brothers. And I commend you for that commitment, and I will hold you to it, Dante.
No question. Please do. Please do.
Yes, sir.
No doubt. Absolutely. Hey, them expectations got a powerful influence on us, man, and no doubt.
Okay.
Please do.
Okay. Well, I will get you our membership information and also a copy of the pledge that we have made to ourselves, and I'll get that to you. And please share it with individuals because we are now statewide. So wherever you're returning to, those of you who are in the system and are listening to this podcast, I want to say we're here to welcome you home, to walk beside you through the process of reentry and share what we have with you.
For those listening, how if somebody is interested in participating, you got an ex-president out there listening, or somebody want to contribute in any way, how can Expo be contacted? How can you be contacted through Expo?
Okay. Well, our main office is in Milwaukee. We're partnering with Wisdom. We're affiliated with Wisdom, I would say. We are an affiliate of Wisdom, our statewide organization. And we're at 2821 North 4th Street. Okay. And we're in Suite 217, and that's Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53212. Okay. And we can be reached by email at expogroup.wi. That's Expo Group Wisconsin @gmail.com.
Okay. Okay. And I'll also make sure to post links to our Expo with this podcast everywhere it's posted.
Okay, I appreciate that, really.
You're welcome. And as the director of reentry programs for Dane County, what are some of the most consistent problems you see brothers and sisters encounter as they reenter the community?
Well, first of all, one thing I would mention that we have taken on as a statewide organization is the revocation process.
Revocation.
The revocations are a driver of our criminal justice system in this state. It is the leader in new admissions into our state prison system. And as the reentry coordinator for the county, I had an office in the jail, and I worked out of the Human Services building. That was an eye-opening opportunity for me due to the fact that being in the jail and having access to all the inmates, one common denominator that I found in individuals being there for, even if it was for a month and a half, was those who were there on revocation holds. It's a real issue in our state, and crimeless revocations is something that we came out with in force. I want to give you this website. We partnered with our health impact partners out of Oakland, California, to do a health impact assessment around the state. And what came out was the issues of how revocation or the fear of revocation impacted individuals on supervision.
Or the fear of revocation. And to clarify, you mean, when you say revocation, you mean how easy it is for parole officers or parole agents to revocate parolees.
Exactly. I mean, it is stressful. It is chronic stress being on paper, and you add that on top of some of the chronic traumas that many individuals have experienced in their lives. It's just an unhealthy situation. Being on paper, I mean, you know that all it takes is someone to pick up a phone and make an allegation. And you lose everything. You lose the jobs, everything that you have gained, or the progress that you have made after returning to the community and being successfully reentered. All it takes is a phone call, or you playing your music loud and being charged with a disorderly conduct, or
I'm actually surrounded by some of those guys. Now, I'm in a medium institution, so a lot of those guys here. But why do you think it's so easy? Why do you think that policy has been so effective in sending men and women back to prison?
Well, again, it's a driver of our admissions. It is a driver of new admissions into the criminal justice system. But corrections, and I do have to say, Dante, I am seeing a shift because of some of the pressures that are coming from community organizations and organizations like Expo. The health impact assessment was huge. Once people read that, many individuals who are not impacted by the system realized that, wow, I didn't know this goes on. I thought that, these individuals get out of prison and just go right back to committing crimes and doing what it took to get them to prison, when merely someone who has a traffic ticket and did not tell their PO that they had that contact I've been sent back to prison. This is something I've witnessed. These are individuals I'm working with right now.
No question about it.
And so that stress is it's unhealthy. It's chronic. And we know that stress will bust a pipe. Pressure busts a pipe.
Yeah. So, it kind of gives you an expectation, and then subconsciously you kind of live up to it. You know what I mean? It kind of it manifests itself. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, and as you said, you're surrounded by so many right now who have been sent back only due to revocations, no new convictions. And in my opinion, that has to stop. I mean, lives are being destroyed. And my thing is, those who go back to prison are just a fraction of those who I encountered in the jail who were sitting there on PO holes, and after 2 weeks or 3 weeks after they've lost their job and their housing is in line, then they're released back into the community. Okay, we're done with our investigation. You go. I mean, a disorderly conduct, what kind of investigation does it take?
What they do is they annihilate when they should be a punishment. But they don't. They go way too far. And I agree with you 100%. That's one of the things that needs to be reformed. So to get to my next question for you, I want to make sure I get your perspective on a couple of these components of mass incarceration. How would you describe personally? How would you describe mass incarceration's impact on you?
Oh, well, I actually came into the system in the heat of the rise on the drug war.
Okay.
And going into a federal prison system in the 80s, in the late 80s, in 87, when the feds had first came in with what they call the new law, which is truth in sentencing, which so many states had adopted. One thing I witnessed, and that was a paradigm shift for me, was in young, predominantly African-American men, busload after busload, coming into that federal, Oxford Federal Prison, Duluth Federal Prison, coming into those prisons with 30, 40, 50 years for drugs. Many of them were just lookouts. Many of them were just young and hanging out. And because they, stood on, I don't know anything, many of them didn't know anything as far as the inner workings of some of the drug organizations. They were sentenced to long prison terms, and I looked at that and I just thought in my very soul that this is a form of genocide. Young men losing the prime of their lives to correctional facilities is a sad thing. And in all honesty, Dante, not much has changed. And what I'm seeing, young men, 16, 17-year-old, being charged with felonies, low-level felonies, but the fact is they are deemed felons at 17 years old, automatically, regardless of the charge, and oftentimes they can be trumped up, but you lose the right to vote, you're deemed a second-class citizen at 17 years old. And that's troubling to me. And I think those are some of the things that we're working on in this state, and that is getting that law changed. And even if we get it raised to 18, that's still too young, but, let's get it back to where it was.
Well, and just to make a testament to that point, if it was changed to 18, that would have impacted me personally and several people that I know. And it's just a year, but it's a huge deal. It would be a huge deal, and it affect the lives of so many people.
It does, and these individuals are losing the right to vote before they can even vote.
No doubt.
And what I have noticed, and something that I often say is many of our young people don't feel that they're part of America due to this system that it alienates them, that put a label on them. And when you're 18 years old and you've been you're going in for a job, you're ruled out of so many industries because of a felony conviction. You can't do military service.
You have 1 minute left.
You can't be a postman. Wow, that time went fast.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Hey, and there ain't no question we can sit here and we can have this conversation, a great conversation for a long, long time. I want to thank you again, Jerome, for taking the time, man. You embody You embody a lot of my the things that I want to do in the future. I look forward to getting out of here working with you, and please continue doing what you're doing. Much love and respect to you.
Thank you, Dante. You continue doing what you're doing, brother. You're on the front line, and that I believe that you can continue to make a difference in the lives of young men who are coming into those institutions.
I appreciate that.
You are a true ambassador, brother. So
I appreciate that. Coming from you, man, it means that's a great deal to me. Thank you. This is
Thank you,
Dante
producer.
signing off with the Incarcerated U.S. podcast.
Goodbye.